Hello everyone, welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, economic, and cultural stories shaping our world. I'm Emmanuel Taban, and on this section of our podcast, I want us to look at a story about the South Sudan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, where the ministry has announced that it will have a weekly media briefing, which is mainly to deliberate on the ministry's priorities and also its diplomatic issues in the country and bringing the media to engage and dialogue together. And this was actually announced through the ministry spokesperson, Ambassador Apuk Ayuel Mayen, and she made these announcements. Let's see.
With the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of South Sudan is pleased to announce the launch of its weekly media briefing series, a renewed platform aimed at strengthening engagement with the media and enhancing public awareness of South Sudan's foreign policy. Building on the ministry's ongoing communications with the press, this structured format will support regular updates, provide clarity on foreign policy priorities, and keep the public and relevant institutions informed on key developments in South Sudan's regional and international engagements. This initiative reflects the ministry's continued commitment to effective diplomacy, institutional integrity, and the pursuit of South Sudan's national objectives abroad. The ministry recognizes the importance of public opinion and the vital role the media as a bridge between government institutions and the citizens of South Sudan play. A well-informed public contributes to national cohesion and supports effective foreign policy. We regard the media as a key partner in shaping public understanding and advancing the national interests through accurate and responsible reporting.
Okay, and that was Ambassador Apuk Ayuel Mayen, the spokesperson for South Sudan Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. But on this video, I want us to look at the importance of having this media briefing. It's always important for, I've always argued that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for any country, it's very, very important because it is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the one in South Sudan, that actually shapes the image of the country and makes the country look good to the outsiders, to the outside world. And for a country like South Sudan that has been grappling with so many years of civil war and political instability and facing governance challenges, I think the world has for quite long seen us in that lenses. The world has known South Sudan for being a country that has known nothing but only war, a country that is known for corruption, a country that is known for poor governance. And I feel it is upon the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to actually shape this image, to actually make the image of South Sudan looks good. And establishing this weekly media briefing, I feel would be very, very important for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also for the entire country. Because one, I'll just give you a kind of a little example. In most cases, South Sudan has been given as a bad example, has been referred to by so many countries as the bad example. For instance, in the recent demonstrations that happens in countries like Kenya, what always people say is, do you want your country to get bad like South Sudan? Like, South Sudan has always been referred to as the bad one. And but the purpose of this video, as I said before, it's mainly to look at how important this move taken by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation would be. The move, of course, of establishing these weekly and media briefings. So, when we look at everywhere in the world, so many countries actually, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they mainly rely on communication strategies. And I feel it is very, very important for a country like South Sudan to have these because one, First of all, let's look at the relationship between the media and the government of South Sudan. We all know that the relationship between the media in South Sudan and the government has been so intense. I mean, in most cases, the media houses and media personalities have been threatened by censorship, and I mean, some of them were jailed. And I feel like having these engagements, having this weekly briefing, an engagement between the government officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and international corporations and the media houses will actually establish a very good relationship between the two, and also it will actually act as a way of accountability. The ministry will be updating the public on the most important moves that the government is taking, especially things to do with the foreign policies of the country. And also, I feel this move is very important because, I mean, in the last few weeks, we have had the allegations. I don't know if they are still allegations or they are true about the government of South Sudan taking a deliberate move to bring some Palestinian refugees to come to South Sudan and settle there. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs came out and said, no, this is not true. The government of South Sudan has no intentions on doing that. And I feel that having such weekly media briefings will actually reduce these speculations, these rumor-driven narratives, and all this misinformation, because every week the ministry will be there to update you on South Sudan policies. I mean, when things to do with diplomacy and what relationship the country is prioritizing with which country, I feel it's gonna be established, and therefore it's not gonna give room for all these rumors to circulate on the social media and all other sources of information. So this is a very good move by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because one, it's going to reduce on the issues to do with informations and these rumor-driven narratives, but also it will create a very strong relationship between the media and the government officials or the South Sudan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is very important. I feel this is a very good move. But also, you know, when the Ministry of Foreign Affairs speaks through these weekly media briefings, I know that it's not only going to be for local consumption. There are so many other institutions, foreign institutions. We're talking about the multilateral institutions, we're talking about investors, we're talking about international non-governmental organizations, even foreign embassies and international audience. If this weekly briefing become well established and consistent, I feel that this international audience will rely on such briefings to actually get information regarding the country. And the presence, I mean, of the foreign ministry on media through this platform is actually going to give a good visibility. The country is going to be seen, and then it's also going to show a kind of stability in the country, because every time the ministry is able to come out and speak on weekly basis on the country's priorities, on things to do with diplomacy and international cooperations. So all these foreign embassies, these foreign audience, even investors will pick interest. You know, if someone out there has an interest in investing in South Sudan and they see all they've been hearing along is that South Sudan is a very, I mean, like unstable country, and they see that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs always comes out on a weekly basis and gives out briefings on the country's diplomatic priorities. So someone would pause and say, wait, we've heard that there is this country that is always unstable, but we see that the ministry is coming out and speaking about these priorities. So it means like this country has a plan, it has a vision. So people would actually pick interest through these briefings. So I feel this is a very important move by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because one thing I've always argued is that in South Sudan, the politicians, not only politicians, but even major government institutions lack social media presence. I mean, when you look right away from the presidents up to the low level of politicians, most of these people don't have any social media presence. They are not visible at all. That's why our country, when you go on the streets in Juba or any part of the country and try to ask pedestrians, who is your minister of this, who is the minister, like they will struggle to tell you even 5 ministers. This is because we are living in a country where the majority of the population is young and they are so much into social media as a way of information, but then all our politicians and all these major institutions are not present on social media, of which these young people would have actually got information about them from. So our politicians lack social media presence. Our major government institutions lack that presence as well. So um, I feel that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is doing a very good move by coming out. And by the way, when they'll be giving out this weekly media briefing, it will be aired out through social media on their pages and people get to share about it. This increases the visibility, it increases the presence of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs online. And it is always good, as I said, that for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to always be, for its presence to be felt, not only by South Sudanese, but even by people outside the international audience, because it is through this ministry that people get to pick interest of coming to South Sudan, of investing in South Sudan, of having, creating some good relationship and cooperations with this country. So I feel the move by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for South Sudan, it's a very good one. It's going to establish a very good presence of the ministry online. It is going to be a source of information consumption for international audience, but also it's going to help the ministry or the country deal with issues to do with misinformation, speculations, and these rumor-driven initiatives that have always been done by different people who actually have no access to verified information but just rushes out there and post whatever information they get about the country and the policies the country is taking. So establishing this platform will actually enable this ministry to deal with these issues of misinformation. Very important, but also creating a very good relationship with the media and acting as a way of transparency where every move the ministry is about to take or is taking is actually being made known to the public, and the people know exactly what their country relationship is with the other country, what their intentions are. It creates in that transparency. I feel this is a very good move by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And one thing I've always said is that the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation seems to be doing a very great job. I mean, for the first time, I've seen that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been engaging so much with many Ministry of Foreign Affairs, their counterparts in other different ministries. And this is a very good one. I mean, creating this relationship is very, very important for South Sudan. South Sudan needs to have friends out there. South Sudan needs to reshape its image and known for being better than what it's known for today. And this can be done through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I'm convinced that the Minister of Foreign Affairs seems to be doing a great job. He is engaging so much, which is very important. I'm not quite sure what the content of this engagement is, what they always discuss in this, but the relationship they create with other countries is always good. It's good to have international friends. Yeah. So kudos to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Very great move. And I hope that this is going to be a consistent moment where the media will actually, the Foreign Affairs Ministry will come out every week and update the public on its priorities. Good one. And kudos to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, if this is your first time, please hit on the subscription button, and it's just a way of making this grow. And also you can hit on the notification button so you can get notified of any other video that we will have in the future. Thank you so much. I remain Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, and economic stories.